if you can't give us some financial support, okay, please give us a credit and we will give you back money.
So Senor Zelensky does not exactly seem to be very happy about the fact that the Trump administration in its first week in office has put a temporary freeze, right? Temporarily halting all new foreign aid, and that includes, obviously, the foreign aid to Ukraine. Now, essentially, the premise of what the Trump administration is looking at doing here is reevaluating all of the wasteful expenditures in regards to whether it's our own domestic bureaucracy or obviously all of the billions of dollars that we send to foreign nations. They're temporarily halting it because they're trying to figure out, okay, is this worth it? Is this wasteful? Should we continue to be doing this? And I think Zelensky knows that if the US government honestly and objectively reevaluates their foreign aid, especially under the Trump administration to Ukraine, and obviously understanding that Trump wants a peace deal, not to just continue the mass slaughter in this war, Zelensky does not exactly seem to be very happy about the fact that his blank checks that he was getting from the last administration are no longer clearing. We'll give you the full story. We'll show you the Zelensky meltdown here in a second. First though, folks, do us a big favor. If you enjoy the content, make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. You subscribing is the #1 way to ensure we can keep bringing you these videos. It's completely free, and let's begin the push to 1 million subscribers. Hit that red button down below. And with that said, okay, so what's going on right now? According to Nick Sortor, apparently Ukraine's Zelensky says that many projects, quote unquote, many projects, whatever that means, have been suspended due to Trump's foreign aid freeze. Okay, and according to the New York Times, even the woke New York Times, what they're saying right now is that many Ukrainian aid groups have stopped their work after Trump's halt on foreign assistance. So I'm sorry, Zelensky. I'm sorry to all of the Ukrainian government officials, but it looks like your new mansion that you're probably building, right, realistically, with all of this US foreign aid money is gonna have to wait. Okay, sorry, not sorry there. Now, apparently Ukrainian officials are alarmed. That is the quote here from Colin Rugg over Trump's foreign aid freeze, while President Zelensky has obviously said that many critical projects are now being suspended. And very hilariously here, again, Zelensky, I'm not making this up, completely melting down over this. His new take on the entire situation is that he claims the Trump administration in doing this and wanting to reasonably bring about a peace deal over a war that has dragged on for a very long time and killed way more people than it should. His entire reason for that, according to Zelensky, is simply because he is being manipulated by Vladimir Putin. You can't even make that up. Take a listen. Here's Zelensky trying to cope with the fact that his blank checks are no longer cashing.
Провів сьогодні ставку, кілька питань. Доповідь якраз керівника СЗР щодо військового потенціалу Росії та готовності Путіна продовжувати війну та маніпулювати лідерами світу. І, зокрема, він хоче маніпулювати прагненням президента Сполучених Штатів Америки досягти миру. Я впевнений, що жодні російські маніпуляції більше не вдадуть.
Really? Really? Manipulation of the United States, manipulation of President Trump, you want to say? You know, I'm not sure. I just want to think, what's a country you can think of in Eastern Europe that has been given a lot of money and has arguably manipulated the United States government for the past several years? I don't know. I'm just saying, okay? Just a thought there, Mr. Zelensky. But it's hilarious. You want to talk about how manipulative this guy is, by the way. I love the flip-flop because Zelensky has gone in like a million different directions basically since the beginning, right? You may remember actually back to 2019, he defended President Trump against the whole impeachment hoax that they tried to do with Ukraine and quid pro quo and all that stuff. Because why? Trump was the one in power back then, and Zelensky wanted to try to get what he wanted back then from that administration, but the war hadn't really started yet, so nobody thought much of it. And then suddenly, when the war breaks out under the Biden administration, Zelensky goes from President Trump's biggest defender to a gigantic, like, neoliberal hero. You know, he's out here, you know, wearing that stupid outfit where he's trying to look look like Hollywood and all that, where it's, oh, I just came from the front lines of the war. Like, yeah, sure. He's on the cover of Vogue magazine. He, I believe, was trying to legalize some of the LGBT stuff in Ukraine, basically to appease the West and the Biden administration. And then, suddenly what happens? Well, Trump gets back into office, and then suddenly Zelensky's like the biggest fan of Trump. It's like, it's so transparent what this guy's doing, right? You want to talk about manipulation? This guy is grifting off the United States.
It won't be long because Europe will be looking at us and will be looking at Trump. And by the way, I now see that when I talk about something with Donald Trump, whether we meet in person or we just have a call, all the European leaders always ask, how was it? This shows the influence of Donald Trump. And this has never happened before. With an American president, I tell you, from my experience, this also gives you confidence, that he can stop this war.
This gives you confidence that Trump can stop the war. Okay, so for years, Biden is so amazing. We love Joe Biden. Ukraine's going to keep fighting. And then Zelensky is saying, oh, no, well, Trump can bring about his peace plan. Yay. And then now he's saying, no, but Trump's being manipulated by Putin. And it's like, what is with this guy, right? He's just all over the place, just completely incoherent. And I should point out, this video that I just showed you is from January 5th, 2025, where, the Trump administration is coming in. And that's worth noting because back in November, Zelensky was talking tough against Trump. He was essentially saying, Ukraine is strong or independent. We don't need the United States. And then we do need the United States. But then now we're panicking that the United States is no longer giving us money. Let me just say right here, this video you're about to see is a video that did not age well from Zelensky. Take a listen.
Перше, сильна Україна. Вона повинна бути сильною для будь-якої дипломатії. Хочу ще раз це підкреслити.
Але США не лише потенційний посередник в переговорах. Це країна, яка надає величезні обсяги допомоги Україні і яка може спонукати нас до того, щоб ми сіли за стіл переговорів. Який меседж ви отримали від Дональда Трампа під час тих контактів, які у вас з ним були? Тобто як він каже? Він каже, я стану президентом і сідайте за стіл переговорів. Як це виглядає?
Я думаю, що він так не каже. Ми незалежна Україна, і мені здається, в час цієї війни наш народ, і я особисто в перемовинах зі Сполученими Штатами Америки і з Трампом, і з Байденом, і з іншими європейськими лідерами довели, що з нами риторика «сідай і слухай» не працюючи. І це не через те, що ми такі, а через те, що так ми повинні відноситись в принципі до будь-якої країни, будь-якого народу, будь-якого лідера. Поважати. Це, в принципі, рівність, одна з цих цінностей, за які ми боремося сьогодні.
So what we're seeing here, right, is basically the many faces, the many different character avatars of Zelensky. Because one moment he is begging the United States for help. He's explaining how if the United States does not help us, we're going to be destroyed by Vladimir Putin, and then the whole world is going to explode. And then in another interview, he's saying Ukraine is strong and independent. We don't need the United States. And this was basically in reaction to Trump's election. That's what he said. It's like, we're a strong, independent country. We're sovereign. We're so tough. It's like, okay, Zelensky, if you want to be so tough, then what is the issue with the United States canceling the aid? I don't know. I'm just saying, right? I mean, I'm just saying, right? It's almost as if you kind of are relying on us to continue fighting this war. Trump has a different perspective. Trump wants to bring peace. Trump does not believe that the mass slaughter and continued death of Ukrainians, as well as Russians, as well as, civilians involved, etc., is really a good thing, right? This war is not productive. It's not really gaining any new territory on either side at this point. Why keep throwing people into the meat grinder for this stalemate? Right? So that's what Trump is saying. And then Zelensky, he can't make up his mind. On one hand, he's saying, no, Ukraine is strong and independent. We're going to keep fighting. On the other hand, I'm confident that Trump's going to bring peace. And then now what is the take, right? Now that Zelensky is basically finding out that Trump was serious because he just put a freeze on the foreign aid that Biden was trying to send him in the last administration. Now he's alarmed. Now he's panicking. Now he's saying that Putin is manipulating Trump as if it wasn't Trump's take, his promise the whole time that he wanted to end this war? I don't know. I'm just saying, look, here's the central conclusion. The only reason Ukraine has been able to continue fighting this war is basically because the United States keeps sending them aid and arms and money, etc., etc. Right? And everyone knows that, right? We're basically keeping Ukraine in the fight, except the fight isn't really going anywhere. It's basically just to keep throwing people, like I said, into this meat grinder to, I don't know, continue the killing, continue the slaughter for inches of territory that might hypothetically change hands, but in reality, it's just to I don't know, make life harder for Putin or something, whatever it is, okay? This is only made possible because the Biden administration, especially on its way out, was trying to make sure Ukraine through the aid can stay in the fight for as long as possible. What was that for? That was to sabotage Trump's attempts at peace talks. But now that Trump has done something kind of bold, he's saying, no, we're freezing the aid to Ukraine. You see Zelensky here panicking. This is where it's headed, right? Zelensky, buddy, you got to end this war, okay? Come to the negotiating table. Because I think it's very clear, as Zelensky is currently finding out, that the new America and the new leadership of America is done with this type of stuff, right? We're not going to continue just writing a blank check to fund proxy wars on behalf of interests that do not really serve or benefit the American citizens all that much, and in reality don't benefit anything. It's I've said this for many years now as the war basically came to a stalemate. Okay, so why don't you negotiate it now? Why don't you negotiate a peace now? Because in reality, at this point, major territory is not changing hands. And that's been the case basically since 2023, right? The lines have been frozen in place and you're just getting this mass war of attrition. What is the point of this? What is actually the point of this? Okay. Anyways, I'm kind of rambling here. The point is this. It comes to an end now. Zelensky, you're finding out very quickly. This is not Joe Biden you're dealing with anymore. Latin American foreign leaders just found that out very recently as well. Let the whole world be on notice. You are not dealing with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris anymore. And it's not just talk, right? It's not just empty platitudes like a lot of past Republicans have done. No, we're serious about it. So just so you know, all right, just so you know. With that said, guys, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new. And until next time, God bless and peace.